So last night I rewatched Darkest Miriam. It reminded me how much I love it, and I just want to talk about it a little bit. I find it to be simultaneously the most comforting movie to watch ever and the most uncomfortable movie to watch ever. But I figured out why, I think. So I just want to talk a bit about that. But this is going to be like less about the plot of the movie and more about like how I relate to Miriam as a character, how the movie makes me feel, that kind of thing. So if you haven't seen it, it's probably best to watch it because this is not going to be about the plot. So I'm also, just as a disclaimer, I don't know if in the book or in the movie script Miriam is specifically written as autistic or neurodivergent, but I'm autistic and I get to say that she is because that's mainly what I'm going to talk about in this. So no one get mad at me. That's just how I feel, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. The reason why I feel like this movie is it makes me feel so seen and like whole and comforting. It's like there's a couple of movies that I'll watch and I have a list of them and they're called movies that put me back in my body, and this is definitely one of them. And I feel like it's because it's like looking in a mirror, okay? Like, as an autistic person, all of the things that Miriam does in the movie, all the things that she feels, it's just like, yep, I've been there too, done that too. That's something that I think is really important to me. I think a lot of times characters in films who are specifically written to be autistic or neurodivergent come off as offensive. It's kind of like when you have a queer character in a movie or TV show and their entire job is to be the queer character instead of just being a character and being queer. It kind of feels like the writers are like, oh, we got a gay one, get excited. So that's how I feel about characters who are specifically written to be autistic. Like, that is their trait. I don't really enjoy that in movies or TV. But I certainly enjoy watching movies and TV where characters are very blatantly autistic or neurodivergent, and I get to say that they are. But I think that the thing about it that is also difficult to watch is that it makes me feel seen from an entirely different way that I've ever felt. Especially watching it last night. I was watching it and I was like, this is how people see me. It's like being seen from the outside for the first time, like seeing myself exist from the outside. Realizing that people do see the moments when I am outside of my body, when it doesn't seem like my body belongs to me. They notice the moments when I have to like take a minute to figure out what my face is going to be to respond to them. You know, those are all things that happen in the movie and we notice them watching the movie. And it's just kind of realizing that, oh my God, people see that. And I didn't realize that they saw that. And I might just be totally, they might not see that about me, but that's how it feels, is it feels like the only thing that I can think of to connect it to, the only other time I've experienced this feeling is when I was a baby and like a toddler. I remember that. Like, I have memory from before I was 1. I remember most of my life as like a 1-year-old. And I remember those from my perspective. And then when I was like 20, I found home videos of me. And I remembered all of the things that happened in the home videos, but watching them outside of my body, watching them from the camera's perspective, my parents' perspective, everybody around me, was crazy. Because from my perspective, I could talk, I understood everything everyone was saying to me, so I thought they could understand me. But watching the videos, I can't talk. No one's understand. They're just filming me because I'm a baby. I'm their baby. And they're like, yay, right? It's like, so it's really weird to see what everybody else was seeing, even though I experienced it in an entirely different way. That's the feeling of watching this movie. It's like a feeling of feeling very like exposed, very small, but it's also like, it's so comforting because like, here's a character, here's a movie that understands. Another thing about Darkest Miriam that is just like, I don't know, I just feel it. I just feel it, is there's a scene when she goes over to this guy's house. She sees his paintings, then she says she's gonna leave. And then she puts her coat on, gets to the door, kisses him, and then takes all of her clothes off. They have sex, and then she has a panic attack immediately, and then leaves and goes and lays in the hole that she fell in 2 days ago. And it's just like, I'm like, truly, the movie to me feels like the experience of when I have to lay flat face down on the floor to try to like get back. You know what I mean? And like going back to the hole that you fell in is like, I just understand it. It just sounds so comforting. Yeah. I really, really love Darkest Miriam. I think everyone should watch it. Britt Lauer is fucking awesome, and highly recommend it, especially if you are neurodivergent or autistic. I also watched My Old Ass last night. It was not at all what I was expecting based on the trailers and the clips that I'd seen. It was awesome. It was so good. Something about it that I really, really loved, like as a queer person, is how queer it was. Felt so real and so at home about how confusing it can be to be queer, especially when you're 18. And sorry, motorcycles. There's a part where the main character, Elliot, is like tripping, and she has a fantasy about being Justin Bieber, and then the guy that she's into is One Less Lonely Girl, and so like she gets to be Justin Bieber and he gets to be like the fangirl, and like that is what queer people mean when we say gender doesn't exist. It was just so, I was just like, yeah, it's that easy. It's that easy. He can be the girl for right now. Yeah. So that's all I want to talk about. But yeah, okay. I love you. Bye.